Hello and welcome back. My name is Dude is Pink, and I'm going to be going over my second part of my HTML tutorial. So today we're going to be learning a little bit more about styling. Now, styling for HTML documents can be done in two ways. Now, the first way, which is the least efficient, is to do it through the HTML itself. Now, I won't be going through this method in my tutorial here since it is just way more efficient to use a separate language, you might say. I wouldn't really consider it a language, but a separate scripting type thing called CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheet. And I mentioned that in my last video. So, as you can see here, we've got our home page that we made last video. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you go check that out if you're new at this. So, what we're going to start off with is we're going to open up this HTML document. And I'm going to be using Notepad 2 again, just as I was using in my previous video. So, now we're going to add a new tag. Now this tag will go above the body tag, and this is easy to remember because what is above the body, and that is the head. So the head tag is where the code, if you will, that is not going to be showing up in the main body text around this area. So what we're going to want to put in is this, which I will put in the description, but this line, this tag, is a self-closing tag. So as you can see, I didn't need to make a separate closing link tag. This is because nothing will be going in between the tags, so there's no point. So as you can see here, it's saying that the link is going to the style sheet, and the type of it is text/CSS. And this is very important. And href is the place where it's linking to. So, for example, if you want to link to a website, you use ahref as a tag, which I'll go over in the next video after this one. But it is pointing to a .css document called stylesheet. Now, of course, we don't have a stylesheet document yet. So if we save this up and we just minimize right here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go into New and open up a text document. Now, you don't need to name this or anything. You just need to open it up, and you can go immediately to Save As. Now, when you save as into here, you're going to want to type in the name of what you named it in that link tag. So, stylesheet.css. Now, this .css is just like the .html, just like the .jpeg and everything. It labels it as a CSS tag. And this is what will be giving our web page the spunk and pop, if you will. So as you can see there, it's got a little bit of an icon, which makes it a cascading style sheet document, as you can see right there. So I recommend just leaving this in there because you're gonna need to open up some text documents just to like mess around with that, if you know what I mean. So if we open this up, we can just use Notepad for this. So let's start by going over some basics of CSS. So to use CSS, if you're on Windows 7, I recommend halving it. It's a lot easier when you can see both parts of your page. But what this does is you can label out certain pieces of your HTML code. Now, for this episode, this is going to be very basic CSS and very basic HTML. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to label this as H1. and then you're going to open the squiggly brackets so it's pointing away, and then you want to close that. So all the code that will be making our HTML work will be within this little bracket here. So let's start off with a basic color thing. So I like to indent it again. It just gives it a bit of like eye-popping, makes it so you can see like the difference. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to use a color, I want to say tag, but I don't believe that that's what it would be. Now, of course, being America, I believe, I'm not entirely sure if it can contain a U. I usually use a U when I spell color, but just for the sake of this, just keep it with the Americanized spelling of it. So then you're going to do a colon. So now the colon will tell it that that's the end of the process. So for the color, you can do basic generic things like red and put it within parentheses, but this is not very efficient. Now, with anybody familiar with colors, there's a form of getting colors, I guess, and it's hexadecimal. Now, hexadecimal colors are done like so. It's not very good. They're done like so. So as you can see, it has various codes in here to allow it to have like different color spectrum shades. Now, being Dude is pink, we obviously are going to go with a pink color. So there's a very important thing you got to remember when it comes to hexadecimals. Is you always want to put pound, hashtag, whatever you want to call it. Of course, pound is, I believe, the proper way to call it. Hashtag's just slang for Twitter, but what you all would know is a hashtag or pound symbol. So if we put that and then we paste in this hexadecimal code here, it will change our H1s to that hexadecimal color. Now this is also very important, is we're going to want to put a semicolon after it. Now this tells it that anything after this will not be a part of this line. So if I were to put another thing, which this isn't relevant for this, but background color, which is another descriptive tag. If I didn't put this here, it would think that I'm typing the color is going to be pound FF3366 background color, which of course isn't a hexadecimal, and it will not work and it will not function properly. So again, it doesn't really need to be used if you're going to be putting one in. But remember, always get into good habits when you're learning, because you don't want to start off with bad habits and then not be able to know how to do things. So you'll see when we save this, and then we also save this. I believe I've already saved it, but just in case, see, it'll have the link rel. So when we go into our, I'll leave this open. When we go into our homepage document, and we open this up with Google Chrome, you'll see that the header has now turned pink. And this has all been done through separate folders. Now, if you're going to be just typing in the link being stylesheet.css, you're going to want to have them in the same folder. Because if it's, here, let's see an example. If this style sheet isn't out of here, or is out of this folder, I don't believe it'll work. Let's put it in my storage folder. So if we open up this with Chrome, it'll turn black again. And that's because it can't distinguish where it's looking for it. It thinks it's going to be in here, but it's confused. It can't find it. So it's got to be within the folder of whatever of your pages. So on from that, there's also many different things you can use in this. So let's say I want to make this text stand out more. Not color-wise, but I want it to pop a bit more. I'm going to use a tag around it called, actually I believe it goes within, strong, and then you're going to want to close the strong. Now, strong just means it's strong colored, essentially, and it will put it as bold. So as you can see with that, it makes it bolder. Now, it's very important when you want to like make something stand out. Like if I want to say take out this and put it here. See, if it's not spelled correctly, this is another good thing about it, is it will make it red. So it's always very helpful when it comes to coding. So when I do this, of course it's not going to work, dang it. But, oh, what the, do I have two of these open? Oh, I see. Sorry, I closed that to begin with. So you want to make sure that is open. Now when I refresh this, it will only strong the text within the bolds that I've placed. Now, this is obviously very helpful when you're like doing more like advanced things. Not necessarily advanced, but when you want to like give credit to somebody or something, and you want to make sure that people see that out of anything. Because, of course, when you're looking at this, it's not pretty, but you're going to say, oh, that's pink, it's aesthetically pleasing, your eyes gravitate toward it. And when you're reading this, you're, of course, not paying as much attention to this regular text. But with this, you see it pop. That's very important. It's a very good sales strategy. It's very good for like blogs, and it's a good choice to use in general. It's always good to have diversity in a web page. So that'll sum it up for this episode. I believe next episode we'll go into some more complicated parts of CSS and some more like choices with font size and whatnot, with the paragraphs, and possibly just even add a little bit more flair to this page. So that's been my second episode of my basic HTML tutorial. As in the last one I posted out, constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. Thumbs up would greatly help. And I shall see you in the next tutorial video. Have a great time testing out these strategies and practicing, so you get this like smoldered in your mind. I'm trying to think of the word here. So you can get it imprinted into your head so you can remember this. So again, this has been Dude is Pink on the second tutorial, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.